We did it! We did it. We all made it to the next Dynasty Warriors game, man. This series is one of my favorite series of games ever since I was a child. It's the Soul Calibur series first, Elder Scrolls second, and then the Dynasty Warriors series. Those are my top 3 gaming series of all time. And after Dynasty Warriors 9 was so terrible, I am leaving all of my hope for this franchise on this new game. I totally skipped out on 9, by the way, and I just played the new Empires version, to be honest. And I played 8, but it didn't really hit me the same. But Origin so far has looked really good, and here we have a video, so let's watch the content together and see what's going on with it. Oh, he's nice. So the first interesting thing that the video shows us is that they are going to have a new twist on the story. And I think this was mentioned before, but ultimately I think this is a really good idea, because for the real Dynasty Warriors veterans that's been playing this game since they were a kid like me, you've done this story so many times. You might as well have read the Romance of the Three Kingdoms book. Now I know it's not a one-on-one copy, obviously, but let me put it in perspective. In school, I had to do a history report on ancient China, and I decided to do the Three Kingdoms storyline, and I aced the fuck out of that project. Now, it's not that I'm trying to flex or anything, because it's not a flex to get your history off a video game. Please do not do that, kids. It's more so, just I knew the fucking storyline like the back of my fucking hand, and I know I'm not the only one. So it's a bad thing to be able to just make a report off of video game history. And I know that you have to base the game off of history because that's the time period that it's set in, but you don't have to be historically accurate, especially on the 10th installation of this fucking franchise. You can mix it up, you can do some things that didn't really happen, and you already take liberties and you do that, but you can take it to the extreme at this point because we already know what you originally tried to do in the past. It's time to bring some new shit to the table, long story short. So yeah, they're going to implement a new storyline, or basically the same storyline, but add a bunch of new things into it, make the storyline way more in depth. Hey, 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 is that Eve? Hold on now. Hold on. Yeah. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard Eve. I know you heard it. For the vets, for the people who's been playing Dynasty Warriors for a hot minute, y'all heard it. Okay, to me, in the later Dynasty Warriors games, they kind of got away from good music. But I swear you could put Dynasty Warriors 4 and 5, mostly 4 though. You could put that soundtrack with any game and it's going to stand tall. I'm not saying it's the best soundtrack in gaming. I'm not trying to say anything that's as hot as that. I'm just saying that is a really, really good soundtrack. And to me, Dynasty Warriors 4 has the best soundtrack out of all the Dynasty Warriors games. You could argue with a wall. Okay, you had Game Ground, you had Cry for Wind, you had fucking Eve, Hold Down, fucking My Bad Fellow. Shit, you had so many good songs on the fucking soundtrack for Dynasty Warriors 4, and they're bringing some of it back. I don't know what the soundtrack for this is going to be, but the fact that they are bringing it back is so goated in my opinion. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, they brought it back plenty of times and just remixed it. Man, some of those remixes fucking sucked, okay? All right? This remix sounds solid at the very least. It doesn't hit the same, but maybe when I'm playing and I'm actually in the battle, it's going to fucking hit. I just had to bring. There is nothing that hypes me up like Dynasty Warriors music when I'm in there fucking fighting 1,000 fucking niggas that's trying to kill me. I don't know why. I'm so passionate about this shit. Let's move on. God damn. Yeah! Okay, so now they're introducing some of the new combat, and then they also mentioned that this game is going to have the largest amount of basically soldiers. Are going to be the biggest battlefields regarding the amount of combat that's going on the screen. So they said they really are emphasizing the entire 1 versus 1,000. Now, some people are not going to like that. For me personally, I guess it depends. I've always been a fan of the older Dynasty Warriors games, if you couldn't tell, but It's not that the newer ones are just trash or whatever, just for the simple fact that it's not as hard. Because when we're talking about the 1 versus 1000, it's really how difficult they make the game regarding the peons. Back in the day, the peons used to actually be a huge fucking issue. That's not really the case with these newer games. It's really like the officers and shit like that. Now with this game, it looks like the peons are again not going to be that much of an issue depending on circumstance. So if you are surrounded, then it feels like they'll be a little bit stronger based off of what I got watching all these videos and stuff. But I'm not truly sure. But one thing I do know is that you are not going to flinch when you get smacked by a peon. For Guan Yu or the protagonist character, it looks like they're not going to do much in the realm of actually fucking you up. Now they can still do damage, but the flinching is gone, from my understanding. So what I feel like Dynasty Warriors has been missing for the last few installments is difficulty, and not just forced difficulty. What I mean by forced difficulty is basically just absurd damage for no reason. I want it to be legitimately hard. You got to be smart on how you attack and things like that. It's already Dynasty Warriors game. It's already super simplistic, but it obviously is not asking for too much considering in the older games they did make the games difficult without it being just absurd damage. Who knows? They'll probably have difficulty levels to make things harder, but again, you don't want difficulty to just mean extra damage and then you do less damage. But we'll see. We'll see. But if you watch the videos, you'll notice that the blocking looks a little bit more tuned up. The combat does look a bit different. It does look like a breath of fresh air. So we do have to give them a fair shot. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that no previous Dynasty Warriors games let you swap characters in the middle of a battle, so that is something that is new to the series. Now they have done that in other Warriors games. Warriors Orochi has done that before, and I'm pretty sure there's other Warriors games out there. There's a lot of Warriors games, guys. I'm pretty sure there's other games that allow you to swap characters in the middle, but for Dynasty Warriors, brand new feature. So that'll be pretty interesting, considering the fact that the character that we're going to be focusing on is this made up protagonist that they've created for us. To my knowledge, the only thing that we can change about him is his name. We'll see if there's further customization options later on. Pretty sure, but for the video, they only show the name itself, and that's another thing. They are introducing something else that I believe is brand new. You can make choices to decide what you're going to do in the storyline. I don't know how deep this goes. To me, I don't know if this is a really good idea because for me, every choice based game, I want my choice to actually matter in the grand scheme of things. Now, you don't have to go crazy. You're a Dynasty Warriors game. Please focus on what you're good at. But if you're going to introduce choices in the game, give it some depth. That's all I ask for. Do not have my beginning, middle, and end stay the exact same, but you still force me to make choices. Do not give me the illusion of choice in the video game. But I do think it's an interesting concept. They just can't mess it up. It's been a minute since we got Dynasty Warriors games, so I feel like they are putting out all the stops. I do think this is a good idea. It just needs to be executed. That's all. Now, in the next video, they get into different things, so it's more of an overview with how the game works. The game flow is what they call it. And the first thing that they bring up is the world map, which looks more unique than anything that we've seen in Dynasty Warriors regarding a map, unless you're talking about Dynasty Warriors Empires and things like that, which I do think a system like this or a map like this would work really well integrated into Empires. And I love Empires more than the actual Dynasty Warriors games. Empires is my favorite iteration of Dynasty Warriors, not gonna lie. But this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Soul Calibur 3 Chronicle of the Sword. I don't know why it's making me think that, but yeah, you can essentially go to each battlefield through this world map. I don't know if you could skip battles. You know, say that you were starting at Yellow Turban Rebellion and then you could skip all the way to fucking Hefei or some shit. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. But either or, I don't think that you'll be able to do that. But you can go to a battlefield and start it from there, and you could just jump right into it, apparently. Look at the actual battle map. Maybe I just got too used to Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, But those maps in Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires were fucking horrible. It was the worst maps in any Dynasty Warriors game that I have played off of memory. I just couldn't. It was terrible. It was all the same fucking thing. This looks like a fat ass map that we have not seen before for Sishui Gate. This looks like a huge fucking battle. This looks like this could take act like 30 fucking minutes for you to complete, plus probably more than that, honestly. So this is something that I'm very, very, very happy with. The bigger battlefields, the big maps, that's what I've always loved about Dynasty Warriors, and they kind of taken them away with the latest iterations, but glad to see that they've returned. I'm glad they see the light. I'm glad we're back, baby. So with the rest of this video, they really don't cover anything that isn't entirely new outside of like you should probably fight with your army more as opposed to going by yourself. You get extra benefits. And then if you're fighting and you're deep in enemy territory, it could be very, very bad. The enemy officers, depending on who they are extra powerful. So Hu Zhong, who is basically like Dong Zhuo's strongest warrior outside of Lu Bu, well, he's very fucking powerful in this battle. And we've seen this in Dynasty Warriors before. Officers go fucking crazy. I don't remember exactly which map it was or which game it was to where there's officers, literally enemy officers, taking out your allied officers just in the fucking fly to kind of simulate the fact that you're going up against somebody who's super powerful. We've seen it in every fucking Dynasty Warriors. If you leave Lu Bu alone to fight your enemies and you just sit back and watch, he's destroying your entire army. You have to deal with him or you got to bypass him and go straight to Dongzhou, which famous line everybody knows. Everybody knows. So pretty much that's the rest of this video. We're really going to see more in-depth gameplay for these battles later on. They didn't cover or get too in-depth with it. They just kind of explained a little bit. And I'm gonna leave the links to those videos in the description. You guys could go watch it yourself. And if I missed anything that was really important, you could come back and comment. You know, leave a like, leave a comment, share, subscribe, all of that jazz. I do really plan on covering Dynasty Warriors and playing that and showing the gameplay off when the game comes out. It's coming in 2025. But yeah, that's it for the video, guys. You have a wonderful day and see you guys later.